complicated. We're drummers, right?
All right, yeah.
Cool. First of all, welcome, Tommy, to my channel.
What's your channel called?
I am Steve RICARDO, the drummer.
What a name,
right?
I like it.
Super
Pleasure
simple.
to be here, Steve.
Thank you so much. So we're going to get a couple questions on how you got into drumming, basically. And let's start about Detroit, where you started, right?
Yeah.
How did you get to...
I was born there.
You were born there?
Yeah.
Is that where you started?
Absolutely. I was
Cool.
born there. That's where I started. That's why I play the way I play, because it's in the water.
In the water.
If anybody knows about Detroit rock and roll, it is the supreme
100%.
version of what rock and roll should be.
Yes.
At least that's my view.
Agreed.
And
Yeah,
I'm trying to
100%.
keep that energy alive. That's what I was brought up in with all the great Detroit rockers. I'm trying to carry that on. I love, that's my favorite style of music. Because it's really based, as hard and heavy as it can get, it's always based out of the blues somehow.
Agreed, yeah. So a lot of roots going back up
absolutely.
in the 50s and 60s coming up.
Yeah, even earlier, yeah.
Even earlier than that. Awesome. How did you get to playing clubs, local bands when you started?
I started, my dad was a musician.
Dad was,
And
okay.
he had bands, played locally, played not locally. And I started playing with him at a very early age, playing clubs 4 or 5 sets a night, 4 or 5 nights a week. And I did that a lot. And that's, if you do that, you get a lot of experience.
Agreed,
And
yeah.
that's how I started.
Building your chops up, getting...
Well, there's a lot of things. You learn how to play. You learn how to play songs. You learn to play not for yourself. There's a dance floor of people. This was different. Bars aren't the same anymore.
No.
You had to keep the people dancing. So, you know, a lot of drumming that I hear today when I walk in, I go, oh my God, those guys will get fired in 5 minutes because they're playing the opposite of what that situation taught me.
Correct.
You play for the music. This is different. I'm half teasing. But your job was to keep the people dancing so they drank more and the bar made money. You know, keep people moving, they get thirsty. It's a very simple thing, but a lot of musicians maybe overthink or think of themselves. So I was taught early, it's not about me, it's about first the music, then the audience,
Right.
you know, so.
The audience is a big key of what draws to the clubs and everything.
The audience is everything.
Yeah. It's
Or
why we
might
do
as well
it.
stay home.
If that's the case,
You know?
agreed. You're touring, you're traveling. What keeps you kind of sane between shows and energized and influenced?
I've always loved what I've done. I love it at its worst. At its absolute worst, I love it. And if you don't like something at its worst, it's like a woman. If you don't love her at her worst and you can't deal with it, get out.
100%.
If you can't live without her at the worst, marry her.
Yeah.
And music is the same thing.
Basically, agreed, much agreed. What have you taken from doing stuff with Ozzy and Sabbath to say some of your own stuff that you've worked with?
Some of what?
What's your takeaway between working with Ozzy and Sabbath or other bands that you've worked with over the years?
Expand more on that question of what you're looking to get out of me.
The difference between, say, playing for A to comparison to playing with Sabbath. Is there a different demand? Is there different...
Well, they're just better. How about that?
Okay.
They were just better.
Yeah.
They were real musicians. There's good musicians that play, but then there's great musicians, and they were great musicians. And Ozzy was a great musician.
You learn a lot from playing?
Of course I learned a lot, but I was ready. I was ready.
From the get-go.
Well, I was just ready. I was there. I was ready.
Cool.
I was able to handle it. I wasn't intimidated, and I was there.
Awesome.
And I did the job. And I think people envy other people a lot of the time, so they don't have that. You know, you can go on stage with famous people and you can wilt. People can wilt because, oh my God, I'm so lucky to be here. Yes, I'm lucky to be here, but they don't want you to feel like that. They want you to feel like, I'm going to kick your ass tonight. You don't have to speak that way, but when you go on stage, we all got to be equal.
Yeah,
I'm not saying I'm equal to them. What I'm saying is when it comes to going on stage, it's war.
100%.
And we're here to do a job. And if I was not on par to them, same mindset as that, as we're here, we've got to play as a group tonight. We're all here. You may be younger, you may be older, you may be this, you may be fatter, you may be skinnier, you may be black, you may be yellow, you may be whatever it is. When you get on stage, You gotta play as a unit.
Yes.
And that was a unit more than I've ever been a part of.
That's so cool.
I never had to get anybody's attention when it's a time to end a song. They look at me. They think of the music first. It was the only time. And those guys are the last guys that you would think would have to, let's follow Tommy. This is the time Tommy leaves. Then there's the time that Tony would leave. It was a musical dance together. And that's what real rock bands are supposed to do. And they had that more than anybody I've ever played with. So that was the difference. Just better. More talented.
Yeah. And the final...
Not that other bands weren't
No, of
talented.
course not, yeah.
They're just better.
Yeah, totally. Which is exactly...
Yeah.
Last question. Before you get ready for a show, what are some of your traits, things that you do?
A big rock show.
Any show.
Any show,
Any show
I always warm up. Whether I find it's very simple. I either get an extra drum stool, and I do my little warm up on that, or two padded chairs that aren't noisy. Because to me, there's nothing worse than you hear a guy. You're in a dressing room with a bunch. It's so annoying when a drummer, they got like practice kits. So I just keep it very simple and quiet, and stretch a lot of stretching. Back to warming up, back to stretching, back to warming up. I do that for however long. Sometimes on a big tour, I get in a routine where I start 2 hours ahead of time. Start doing that. And I stretch. And at this time, exact time, every time, I put on my pants. At this time, I do A, B, C. So no matter what, there's a system. So when I go on stage, if I'm sick, if I haven't slept, when I go on stage, it's showtime. So I look at it as it's business.
It's routine.
It's just like you're making a car. You know, this guy does this, you do this, you do this. So all the parts are functioning and it comes out
Very
a
cool.
fully manufactured car.
Right.
So
Very cool.
music, if you're young, it's fun, and I don't like the word hobby. It's a craft.
Yeah.
Music should be a craft that you're never-ending search for perfection that you know you will never achieve. First of all, rock and roll is not supposed to be perfect.
No.
But you're after, you're going, you're thinking. It consumes my psyche. It consumes me. The only thing that's more important than music, or has been my whole life, is my family. And music has taken a second step, and rightfully so, and I think it should. But if you want to play music, it's like trying to be an Olympian. It's never ending. It has to consume you. You have to make it number one on your list, and nothing else comes before the music. Nothing. Not chicks, not going out, not booze, not hanging out with your buddies, friendships. All are second to playing music. That's my take on it.
I totally agree with that.
Pleasure.
100%. Thank you, Tommy.
Pleasure.
Check it out. You know who he is. Dude, follow him, and much appreciated.
My pleasure.
This is what we do
Thank
in
you
life.
for having me.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure.
Appreciate it. All right, signing off.